Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Chris, and today, taking advantage of that great SoCal weather, making sure I get some fresh air outside to finish the busy portion of my day. Today, I wanted to show what I picked up, which are these two bears, Royal Canadian Mint bears, 1.5 ounce. It's actually pretty surprising. Again, I picked these up at the coin shop in Studio City, but it was actually kind of shocking. They had a lot of stuff, so it looked like people had gone in there probably to take advantage of the expected bump in spot from the quote-unquote silver squeeze. They had a nice variety, not too much of any one thing. These bears, I actually have some other bears in a tube somewhere that I gotta combine these with. But the reason I bought them is because I do like the random weight, the 1.5 ounce. But what really surprised me about it was that for these two bears, you look at them and they're a little chunky, which is good. But when you look at them, it's like it kind of feels the same as if you're buying an ounce. But they wanted $49 each for these. So at first I was thinking, wow, 2 coins for $100 basically. Which was pretty interesting and it really brought things into perspective, I think, in a way that I hadn't really thought of it in a while. Because, if you're buying single ounces, you're getting those, you're getting multiple coins, even if you're paying $30, whatever, 33, you're getting a few coins for $100. But with these, because it is the 1.5 ounce, it's a little more expensive. But it really kind of shocked me because thinking back to like a year and a half ago, before the pre-pandemic, obviously, even before that, so like I would say early 2019, when you could buy silver for in the 12s, $13 an ounce. And I was thinking to myself, wow, these guys would have been together, under $50. And now they're $100 almost, which is crazy. A lot of other channels have mentioned it. I mentioned it before in my other videos that silver had a crazy year last year. Gold also had a run up, but silver really, made a huge jump. I think definitely more than a lot of other assets. So when you hear people who don't do too much or don't understand investment too much, they'll say, that's more than the stock market. It jumped more than the stock market. Well, if you're the Vanguard investor who does index funds, then yeah, it did. Precious metals did outperform that. But typically, if you're a more sophisticated investor, you're obviously picking different investments to make up your portfolio, not just index funds. So, as far as if you were investing in Tesla, had a better return than what silver did. Much better by multiples. It's really just understanding the general environment of what's going on and how things are going to play out. But like I said, for me, it was definitely a wake-up call that inflation really is a big issue, and it is going to be a big issue moving forward. I don't think we've really seen the effects yet. It's basically the infancy of, if inflation's going to become pervasive within the economy. Now, that being said, you're hearing everyone talking about inflation, oh my God, inflation. Remember, the Fed it really is in control, whether you like it or not, and whether you understand it or not. The hard part about these kind of things, like economics, is that even the economic theories themselves, like whether you're, a Keynesian or Keynesian, or whether you subscribe more to Milton Friedman from the Chicago School, it doesn't matter what side of the economic aisle you're on. If you really understand the mechanisms that they talked about back then, obviously everything that's going on, people would say that it's very Keynesian, that we're flooding the world with cheap currency in order to stimulate economic activity. So people would say that. That's true. That's absolutely true. Definitely, the Keynesians have definitely taken over, especially with modern monetary theory. But The reason I bring that up, sorry to go off on a tangent, but the reason that I bring that up is that the other part of that people don't realize and don't understand is that at this point, the Federal Reserve is basically also has the power to raise the price of money. How do they do that? They do that by raising the interest rate. And even though they don't do that in the open, because they control the short term currently, they openly control the short part of the curve by doing open market operations. What people don't realize is we all know that that they're going into the market in general and playing with interest rates. And so the key here is that what could happen, what I think is very likely, is that, and I mentioned this in a video previously, the Federal Reserve can come out and say, hey, we're going to implement actual yield curve control along the full yield curve as opposed to just the short term. What that'll do is light a fire under under everything as far as the stock market, that kind of stuff will just continue to skyrocket. Because at that point, once you control the literal price of money all the way across the curve, everything is controlled, everything is manipulated openly. Again, I believe they already do this. I mean, most people who talk about this kind of thing know that they already play their game and that they already pretty much do it. But if it becomes an open secret, not even open secret, it becomes public information that this is what they do, at that point, they can control inflation. They can control everything. Everything. And the reason that they would do that at that point is because during this time of crisis, the Fed and the big boys are buying up all the assets. So by doing that and then replacing the value of the currency, you can really make a lot of things happen. Think of it like this. So before World War II, when FDR, asked American citizens to turn in their gold, their bullion, for currency, people did it because at that point, people trusted the government, people believed in the system, and everybody wanted to be a good patriot, so they did it, right? And it was illegal to, quote unquote, hoard gold, but people did it. Once they had the large supply of gold, what did they do? They turned around and changed the price of bullion. It's the same mechanism. Once they have control of the assets, they can make it worth whatever they want to. Inflate it or deflate it. Why would they deflate it? There's a lot of power there, because if you deflate the currency, again, other countries' currencies are very dependent on what our currency is. And so if you already control all the assets, but then you change the price of the currency, it's very complicated, but basically you're stealing more of the power away from other countries and other entities. So, long story short, this little bit of silver that cost me $100 for 2 coins. This problem in the short term is only gonna get worse, and it's pretty interesting. But where that translates into the whole topic that I'm talking about is that the silver squeeze, definitely misguided. Definitely misguided. You're punishing stackers. It is good to get your hands on as much silver while you can, but it is punishing to stackers. Now, I think that type of energy that the silver squeeze put into everything can go into so much more useful areas. Imagine if someone had the power to go onto the COMEX and buy a bunch of contracts, and maybe as a pool, maybe as a group, put your money together and buy a bunch of contracts and then demand delivery. That kind of thing would hit spot. That kind of thing would hit the COMEX. But are they doing that? No, they're buying bullion from the dealer exchanges or from the coin shop. That's not going to do anything. You're just making money you're stimulating the economy, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that was a wake-up call for me on this bullion. And I did have a comment on my previous video about, why are you being so hard on the silver squeeze? It's not that I was being hard. It's just that it's not the right mechanism. It was well-intentioned, but poorly executed. And I really think there are better ways, such as, like I said, if someone had the power to go buy a bunch of contracts on the COMEX, demand delivery, those kind of things would really have an effect. Could we do it? I don't know. But you know what? I don't sell short the community in general. It's just very hard to get those big, to put one over on the big boys, especially when they expect it. So we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to share with you my epiphany over these two bear coins, which set me back almost $100. All right, until next time, take care.